Check out the latest Quick Hitter from the Pure Hoops podcast as BJ Armstrong and Eric Newman break down the NBA play-in and playoffs as they rapidly approach.
Let's look at the race overall. I want to start with the Lakers. One game back of Memphis for the 6th seed. Anything can happen. I'm sorry, one game back of the Mavericks for the 6th seed. Blazers and Mavericks tied at 5-6. What's your gut on the Lakers right now? Are they going to try to avoid this play-in scenario, or do you think they are going to go full steam ahead here to get in the top 6? What are you thinking?
I think they're going to go full steam ahead to get into the top 6. You know, that one game elimination, Eric, that's a scary proposition to be in. And anything can happen. That's what makes the NCAA tournament great, because, you know, anyone can have a great game, a great quarter, and all you need is one great game. So, and if you're playing a great player such as a Steph Curry or a Damian Lillard or whoever that may be, you know, that player is capable of winning one game. It's not like a 7-game series. So I think the Lakers, in their best interest, should try to get in and be one of the top 6 seeds, which secures, you know, who you're going to play, that you're going to have the opportunity to at least play 4 games, which gives you a little bit more stability than that one game.
Mind you, if they're in the 7-8, they get 2 shots at it. They get the first shot in the 7-8 game. If they happen to lose that, then they play the winner of the 9-10. That's one. The second thing here, which is pretty interesting, is if they get into the top 6, they avoid that sudden death type of scenario in the play-in. But then they draw, most likely, the Los Angeles Clippers in the first round or the Denver Nuggets, versus if they're 7 or 8, they draw the Suns or the Jazz. So from that perspective, if you're the Lakers, who would you want to see versus who would you want to avoid in that opening round?
You know, Eric, I'm going to. I know you're never supposed to assume, but If you're going to win the final game of the season, it doesn't matter if you see the Jazz, the Suns in the first round, second round, or the finals. If you're going to be the best, you got to beat the best. So at this point, I think it's in the Lakers' best interest to get in, to secure that. Once they secure that, you know, because in this play-in tournament, nothing is guaranteed, okay? Injuries happen. You lose a game you're not supposed to lose. How many times have we seen in a 7-game series where game one, you lose a game 1 at home, you get the home court advantage and you lose game 1. Suddenly now you're in a dogfight. So I'm from the mindset that I think it's in their best interest to get in the top 6, then move from there, because anything can happen and it's the playoffs, and that's what makes it great. And why take a chance if you don't have to?
Fair enough. Warriors, Grizzlies, half a game separating them right now for the 8th seed. The Warriors are up. They play on Sunday, which is the last day of the regular season, with Monday being an off day and Tuesday being the beginning of the play-in. So all things taken into account right now, which of course starts with the level that Steph Curry has been playing at. We know the Grizzlies have had an up and down year, but they've, you know, it's surprising what their record is with Jaren Jackson, which Johnny L, keep me honest on that. It was 2-6 to start the week. Obviously, Jaren has not been back that long, but Memphis is trying to find their way. And with a talent like Ja Morant and how gritty that team is, on a one-shot deal, they can beat anybody. How do you see this Golden State-Memphis race going down? And second part of that question is, do you think either of those teams could pull a mammoth upset in the first round of the playoffs as an 8 seed?
Without question, because of the personnel of the Warriors, they have the experience, they have the talent to do it. Now, it's easier said than done because we know what the Warriors are capable of doing. They've played with pressure over the last 5 or 6 years where we expected them to win and they delivered. And they went to the finals 5 straight years. So we know the Warriors have the capability to do it. This Ja Morant kid, he is an exceptional talent. And, he has this Memphis Grizzlies organization battling for the playoffs right now, minus Jaren Jackson. Okay. And that's an incredible achievement. And when you look at their roster, you look at the Warriors roster, they're like a half game or a game and a half of each
half
other.
game right now. Half game
Okay.
right now.
And this is all because of Ja Morant. Okay.
Yep.
And Ja Morant, and he missed a few games this year due to, I think, an ankle sprain or something that he had.
They did a great. He was out early, and we were worried they'd be out of the race.
Yes. So
and they held the fort. Credit Kyle Anderson. Credit Dylan Brooks. Credit Valanciunas, and credit the entire coaching staff for what they've done. 7 players, BJ, on that team, averaging in double digits, and 2 more at 9 per game. Shout out Johnny L. And they're 3-6 with Jaren Jackson in the lineup, which is not a very large sample size. But to your point, this is an exciting young team that even if we don't see them in the playoffs this season outside of the play-in, they're going to be exciting moving forward. But back to you on what you were saying about both the Grizzlies and the Warriors as it pertains to a potential first-round upset.
Yeah, I think this is an excellent opportunity for them. I think this is, when I say them, the Memphis Grizzlies, they're playing meaningful games with a young team led by Ja Morant. So they have a superstar. Ja Morant is a superstar player. And that would be an exciting matchup to see Ja Morant versus Steph Curry. I like where this Memphis Grizzlies organization is trending. If Jaren Jackson can stay healthy, that's a big if. He's been injured now for the last couple of years. And as a young player, when you start to see injuries creep in from one year to another, just little things, you begin to get concerned. But if he's healthy, I mean, he's a very talented young man, a very talented player. But give this Memphis Grizzlies team organization credit. They've held it down, and they're playing games, meaningful games as an organization, and that's very, very encouraging for a young team.
The Eastern Conference. The Celtics have, unfortunately, Jaylen Brown is out for the year. So the Celtics are in the play-in situation with the Hornets, with the Pacers, with the Wizards. It's not pretty, but those play-in games are going to be a lot of fun thanks to Westbrook and Beal and the Wizards, along with how fun and exciting the Hornets can be. But looking up the standings, BJ, the Hawks are now up at the 4. I mean, they're all tied, Hawks, Heat, and Knicks in the loss column. The Hawks half a game ahead because they've got one more win. Hawks, Heat, Knicks. Obviously, the 6th seed here has to face the Bucks, which is a huge difference in terms of being in that 4-5 matchup. Between the Hawks, the Heat, and the Knicks, BJ, which team has the best chance to make a little noise here under the radar below the top 3 in the East in the playoffs?
Wow, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I think
Thank
a lot
you.
of
Hopefully,
this,
it's not my only good question today.
Yeah, I think if the Knicks finish in 6, I believe they would play the Milwaukee
Bucks. Yeah,
I think that's a tough matchup. Giannis is a tough matchup for everybody. Okay, but I would look. I love the Knicks. The Knicks are in the playoffs. I mean, I just love saying that. So congratulations to them. They are in the playoffs. They, at the very least, will be the 6th seed.
They will.
I would say I would have to go with the Bucks, but I'll no secret. I'll be rooting for the Knicks. I'll be rooting.
Well,
for
no, not the Bucks. The Hawks, Heat, or Knicks.
Yeah, no, but no, I was just saying, but the Knicks will have to play the Bucks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I said in that series, I think the Bucks will probably win out.
Yes.
If I had to choose between those three teams, the Hawks, the Heat, and the Knicks, okay, as far as advancing, I think the Heat would play the Hawks, and I think the Heat and the Knicks can beat the Hawks in a 7-game series. So in choosing that, I think the Heat has the best chance if it ended today of advancing.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. And they've been playing very well.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Right? Because
yes.
I think the Heat are in the fifth, right? The Heat are in fifth.
Well, as of right now, I mean, they're sitting there with the same exact record. So, the Heat could see Milwaukee in the first round, and that could be a rematch of the playoffs last year. And, the Heat obviously watched with great attention their 2 wins against the Celtics Sunday and Tuesday. Not only have they rounded into form, but I think it's very underrated how much Trevor Ariza brings to that team. And they could, obviously you could say it about anybody, but just starting to have that feeling, Miami's got that look about them again. And
I'm going to say this. What they did last year was amazing. Amazing.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Please raise your hand if you had them going to the finals last year. Raise your hand. Okay. Because I certainly didn't.
Nope.
But this is a different playoffs.
Yep.
I don't expect Tyler Hero and
Duncan Robinson
and these guys to shoot the ball the way they shot it. I don't expect the Milwaukee Bucks, if they face the Heat again, to play the same way they played in the bubble. I expect them to play better with more confidence at home in their own arena. So I'm going to go back to the traditional way of looking at the playoffs, because the bubble gave me a false sense of security because of the way everyone was shooting and the way everyone was playing, because you didn't know who was at home and who was on the road. So it didn't really matter. Even though the Bucks were the home team, playing in the bubble wasn't a home court advantage. So I'm going to say that even though last year the Heat beat them, I think this year the Milwaukee Bucks will win out in that series.
Yep. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are exactly where they want to be.
Yeah, but I do feel that the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks can beat Atlanta in a 7-game series, whether they have the home court or not.
I'm really stuck on what a Knicks Hawks matchup would be like, because A, Trae Young, B, the Capella Collins tandem. Listen, Julius Randle's playing at a level right now that's, it's elite of elite.
He's playing like an elite top 10 player right now.
He is. But Capella and Collins present a formidable front court challenge to the Knicks, where they both have to deal with each other on both sides. So I think that would be a great first round series with a lot of fireworks, and obviously having, Derek, the way he's playing right now is absolutely phenomenal. And I don't think there's anybody on the Hawks that can keep him out of the paint on the dribble. And then, of course, just this physical attitude the Knicks have adopted with how they play. They've been great to watch. So I think that could be a great series. I do not think Atlanta is equipped to beat Miami. But we'll see how this lays out. I mean, either way, whether it's Hawks, Heat, or Knicks, who dropped to 6, they all present interesting challenges for the Bucks. But I think the Bucks are a better team than they've been the last 2 years. Their record may not say it, their seed may not say it, but to me, the eye test says it in what I've seen. And they're right where they want to be. So this is shaping up to be really interesting in the East as far as those matchups go. I mean, Philadelphia and Brooklyn are going to be heavy favorites, regardless of who they face in the 1-8-2-7 matchup. But it's going to be really intriguing to see where these teams fall after we finish this weekend. And BJ, just to give a quick look ahead, the Heat play the Bucks on Saturday, the Knicks play the Celtics on Sunday, and the Warriors play Memphis on Sunday, which is going to decide that 8-9 in the West. And Denver plays Portland as well for the 5-6. So this is going to be a heck of a weekend here of games determining seeds and matchups. And as we talked about earlier, as we've talked about the last couple of weeks, this is all tie into the play-in, making these games more meaningful down the stretch. So I think it's a really good thing for the league.
We hope you enjoyed that quick hitter presented by Pure Hoops Media. Check out the Pure Hoops podcast every Friday. Stay pure.